Here is my recap and review of Dexter Season 1, Episode 11, entitled Truth Be Told. In this episode, all roads lead to the ice truck killer. So much happens in this episode, you're not going to want to miss this. All right, so as this episode opens, Dexter's at the crime scene where Batista got stabbed, and he starts to have more repressed memories, and he has memories of his mom being killed by a chainsaw. And throughout this episode, Dexter wants to know what really happened. So in the very first episode, we find out he gets a lot of those cases for the people he's going to hunt down from somebody who works in the records department there at the police station. He goes to this individual who apparently had a pretty close relationship with his father, not in a sexual way, but in kind of a motherly way where she promised to keep his secrets so that Dexter would never find out what really happened that night that his mom was killed. She said those records have been destroyed. Dexter tried to get them, finds out that those records have been destroyed at the request of Dexter's adoptive father. Dexter doesn't believe that because his father would always do everything by the book. She lets him know, not in this case, because he wanted to protect you. She says, you will never know what was in that report. All she said was that you were, it was a drug deal gone bad. You were found in that cargo ship in about 2 inches worth of blood. So she says, she vows that he will never find out what happened and that it's better that way, that Dexter does not find out. So there's definitely going to be more in regards to his backstory in upcoming seasons. Every other storyline in this episode leads to the ice truck killer. In this episode, Rudy, who is the ice truck killer, actually has plans to propose to Deborah. We've got Batista still in the hospital getting healed from what happened to him. And he finds out that his wife had been there the whole time since the minute he got brought in. She was the first to show up and she hasn't left. This leads Batista to think that he's going to actually have a chance to get back with his wife. She doesn't want that, and she makes that pretty clear in the episode. At the same time, LaGuardia's there with Batista in his room, and she talks about how things are going really bad for the commissioner, and she's hoping to get his job. Well, come to find out later in the episode, he double crosses her and actually gets her demoted and brings in another guy from another location to come in and be the new head of the department, and that she needs to pack her stuff up and get out by the next morning. He says there'll always be a place for her there, but just not in that position anymore. He doesn't like how she tried to go around and get around her. Well, at the same time, Dexter starts putting things together, and he actually has a meeting with Rudy at the beginning of the episode, and he notices that his lip is hurt, and Rudy tells him, this just happened the other day. It's no big deal. And he has the discussion with him about Deborah and wanting to possibly propose to her. Later on, there's all these things that come to light about the ice truck killer. And Batista's in the hospital. They find blood on the scene where Batista got stabbed, actually on his clothes, that doesn't match Batista. So Dexter wants to find out whose blood it is. Well, he goes in to talk to Batista and check the back of his head. He wants to look for wounds or anything that could have dripped on his back. And he looks, and he actually ends up seeing that there are bite marks in the back of his head. So Dexter knows that this guy got hit and that Batista tried to take him out. All of a sudden, that makes Dexter remember about that meeting and the lip. And he starts putting 2 to 2 together. And then Masuka comes to him later talking about prosthetics and how this is all tied to the ice truck killer with the things that they've learned. And that really starts to make Dexter panic. So he's there. He goes to see if Deborah is still at the police department. Come to find out, they're stuck there until they break this case. They're getting so close with everything all of a sudden coming together that she's not allowed to leave. He's grateful for that because she was supposed to go meet Rudy that night for dinner on a boat. Things get a little crazy, and Dexter needs to find out if he is actually the ice truck killer or not. So he goes to his apartment because one of the things that they determine is they look at the video. Oh, and I got to go back because this brings up something I forgot to mention. At the beginning of this episode, you also see Rudy meet up with that girl that Batista was dancing with in the previous episode. And she's very shocked to kind of see him again, and they spend the night together. And that's when Rudy kills her to do one more last kill to kind of throw the police off his scent. And he sends a video to the police department. Well, when they pause it, they notice these vents up above in one little shot, one little frame. And they determine that he's got a freezer somewhere close to where he is. And Deborah says, well, that wouldn't be anything commercial because these girls know to go nowhere near commercial buildings because that could mean certain death. So she has the idea that this has to be residential. So they start looking at residents and where these could possibly be. So that's when Dexter leaves, when he notices that she's safe. So he thinks she's okay there. So he goes back to Rudy. Well, not back to, he goes to Rudy's apartment and wants to break in to get some samples, some DNA. He can't get in. It's got state-of-the-art security with push buttons and stuff. There's no way he's getting in. And he notices a camera up above. So he decides to go dumpster diving. When he goes dumpster diving, he actually finds a cotton swab that could have possibly been used to clean off the wound on the mouth when he got hit by Batista. So all this stuff seems to be coming together. Dexter takes that back to the police department, has a blood analyst there scientifically test this stuff, says, I need to match these two blood samples. I think one was from Batista's shirt and the other was from the cotton swab. Well, it comes back that in fact, he is the same guy. Like, this is the ice truck killer. This starts to panic Dexter. So he goes out to see if Deborah is still there, and she's not. She had actually left because the ice truck killer had called her. Rudy had killed her, told her to come down, even though you can't leave and you're not supposed to leave. Come down. We'll have a quick dinner. We'll have a quick drink. You can go back. We can still have a good time, and then you can get back, and it won't affect the case at all. So he lures her there. When she first gets there, she's like, I'd really like to stay, but I can't. He's like, what about one drink? Just one drink. She kind of hesitates and says, I really have to get back. So he knows she's about to leave. So to keep her there, he pulls out a ring that he had and proposes to her, which makes her go wild. She decides to stay for the drink real quick. So they go down below deck. And that's when he shows his true colors and subdues her and takes off with her on the boat. Dexter panics, tries to call her, shows Rudy picking up the phone and seeing it's Dexter, and he throws the phone out into the ocean. So as of right now, Dexter knows who he is. The rest of the department doesn't yet, but they're getting very close to figuring out who he is. So it's going to be a race to the finish in the final episode. So we've got one episode left in the season, and I will be reviewing that shortly. So look for that video soon. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, be notified when I have new videos go up. I have reviews on all sorts of things on my channel. You'll see lots of playlists and lots of different things, and something might interest you. So stick around, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and you will be alerted when new videos go up. I do appreciate all of the support.